Frank Holub says, as a maker, there's a balance between doing as much as you can yourself and knowing what steps to outsource to those with better experience, expertise, and equipment for a specific job. When was the last time you outsourced for something like that? And what is the next thing you want to learn how to do that you have had to outsource in the past? I outsource stuff all the time. I really do. Sean Charlesworth recently helped me out with a metal 3D printed part because I couldn't figure out how to make it. I couldn't figure out how to machine it. And he had done some experimentation in this realm. And he had the piece sintered, 3D printed with sintered metal for me. And I'm so not above farming stuff out. Usually the threshold for me is about my enthusiasm for diving into constructing that piece. There are times when I know that my experience isn't enough to make a perfect part, but it's enough to make a satisfying part. I like that. But if I'm sure that my lack of skill in some department is going to yield a piece that's always going to disappoint me, that's when I will farm it out. The next skill I want to learn is TIG welding. I have a beautiful TIG welder here. I've set it up with all the stuff it needs, and I've done a little bit of TIG welding here and there. But I need a couple of days of steady instruction, and I just have to work that out. I've had someone in here to give me a sort of base level, but I really need to work on that because there are so many things I would like to be welding together with the TIG welder, especially when I watch this old Tony talk about TIG welding. It really is a skill that would increase what I could do here. The problem also is that this shop is just, this space is not set up for welding. You know, there's tons of dust everywhere. I'm cautious about starting a fire, as everyone should be. Tom Sachs says that every artist's biography has a chapter called The Fire. And I don't want that chapter in my biography at all. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm probably getting some live questions I'm not even paying attention to. And here is what I will do. Let's see. Gallery 28 asks, do you ever get rid of any tools? Yes, I get rid of tools all the time. In fact, I did a piece a few months ago on my favorite screwdrivers, which are the Stanley Workmaster series from the 80s. And I ended up building a complete set of Phillips and flathead versions of the Stanley Workmaster series, and some fans sent me some as well. And then I gathered up all my other screwdrivers into a cardboard box, and I put them in the tested offices for tested folks to cull what they needed. I love doing that. I love passing on my tools to others. I love getting rid of tools. Frankly, I love getting rid of anything. I know it doesn't look like I love getting rid of anything. And you look behind me, this does not look like the space of someone who likes getting rid of stuff. But I particularly like stuff going to a place that it will be used and well loved. Let's see here. Robot Fencer asks, any advice for setting up a garage shop? I have a garage and I want a shop, but I'm not sure how to make the two meet. This is an interesting one. It depends. Well, so like one question is, do you have someone else that shares that garage with you? Because that will change a lot of your parameters. If not, it is actually a great time to be setting up a garage shop because there are a lot of businesses that make custom workbenches and cabinetry and have been doing so for long enough time that there's a real economy of scale in garage shop supplies for infrastructure that are pretty reasonably priced as far as what I have seen. It's not like buying one of those Mac toolboxes, it's $2,500. It's more like buying some benches and shelving that's a fraction of that. You know, it's still a few $100s, but for what you get, a lot of bang for the buck is what I have been noticing. If you're going to build a garage shop, there are some other considerations. If you live in a place with a homeowners association, there might be specific rules about leaving that garage door open for long periods of time. HOAs can be touchy about whatever you can imagine. And you're going to want to not run afoul of that. You're also going to want to think about ventilation. I know people give me crap all the time for not wearing a respirator for doing some quick airbrushing and stuff like that. But ventilation is going to be a key thing. Lighting is maybe the most important thing to think about in a garage shop. The moment I built these guys, these lamps out of light panels from Amazon, the moment I built them, I was upset at myself for the years I spent not having enough light on my workbench. You will never feel like you have okay, you could probably get to a place where you feel like you have too much light on your workbench, but you'd have to work to get there. Lighting is key. Lighting is so key. It is so key to the quality of what you do. It is so key to being able to spot your mistakes, being able to see the quality of your paint jobs, of your finishes. Lighting might be the first thing to take care of. And again, you don't have to worry about a bunch of fluorescent fixtures and ballasts. You can just buy LED lighting. You could just buy LED lighting and pop it into the ceiling. It's like, you know, a bunch of the 5-foot LED strip behind me on the table saw is like $30 at the store. I've had a couple of these crap out on me. What's really funny is that the bulb is rated for like 100,000 hours, but the board is not. I mean, I've just had them stop working after a couple of years, which is a spectacular kind of built-in obsolescence. Like, how do you make a board that nothing is touching, that is only expanding and contracting from the local weather and its own power supply, I would guess? How does something like that eventually stop working? Where does a contact not happen? There's got to be a set of engineers specifically working on planned obsolescence. And if you do, I'm sorry, because I feel like that's sort of, to be sure, coming up with a scheme for something that doesn't move to fail requires some ingenuity. And I'm sure that whoever did it is a smart person, and I'd probably love to talk to them about tooling and stuff like that. But also, planned obsolescence, I have a moral problem with it. I have a slight moral problem with it. Yeah, I mean, I understand commerce and capitalism, but at the same time, hell's bells. I was just talking about the new tools not being as well ground as the old tools. And that's part and parcel of that same kind of philosophy. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.